The St. Petersburg Rays. That has a ring to it. Or does it?
Let's talk about that right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first to listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on all the traditional podcasting platforms. We're also on the socials, X and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And you can email us anytime. We are always accepting mailbag questions, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Before we dive into the topic du jour, the rabbit hole that will be, Ulises, you have to get something off your chest. You have to address the room with something.
Yes, it's something I've been doing for the last couple months, and I think it's apropos in a baseball podcast to discuss. During my Japan trips, my Japan voyage, I was thinking, hey, you got to do some volunteer work in your life. Like you got to put some of your time and effort into the community. And I knew that I wanted to do something that the people that would be getting my help, my time, would be getting 100% of me. And for me, that's not soup kitchen. I know that I'm giving my 100% when it's about baseball. So with Dave Wills always being a very big staunch supporter of Buddy Baseball, I joined Buddy Baseball in the fall, and that's something I've been doing every Saturday for basically the last 2 months. And the season has just ended. And I wanted to just put it out there that if you're willing or looking for any volunteer work, I feel like, and you like baseball, I would really strongly encourage anybody to support Buddy Baseball. It's a beautiful initiative where kids with special needs are paired up with a buddy, and we teach them the game of baseball. I was one of the coaches of a team. Our team name was Cobras, and we raked, man. We raked. And so I just wanted to put it out there for anybody that likes baseball and is looking to do some volunteer work. Look into Buddy Baseball. I think it was a wonderful experience. I will do it as long as I can. I'm already going to be signing up for the spring season. And so I just wanted to put it out there in the world and to maybe, if only one person signs up, I think that my job is done.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So where was the Buddy Baseball season played? I assume somewhere in the Tampa Bay area. I didn't know if it was Ybor City, if it was in Lutz, if it was in Pinellas. Where were you venturing out there? And I see you have a Buddy Baseball shirt on presently as well. So extra points there to the organization.
Yeah, no, 100%. You get a hat, you get a shirt, and it's in Temple Terrace on 56th Street and I think Whitehall, maybe. But yeah, it's on 56 at Temple Terrace, and there's 3 fields, and there's about 12 teams in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so you play basically every Saturday. The games are about 1 hour long. And really, it's a pretty cool thing, and you see how the development of kids who might be very shy in the beginning, either because they're a player or they're a buddy, and then you see the growth in how they can relate to not only the coaches but the other kids and themselves too. You see that growth, and not only athletically, but also in the dugout. And that's really awesome.
Yeah. No, hey, volunteering is special. It's meaningful. It has as much of an impact as you, the person that's volunteering, as the person or persons that you're helping out. And I would imagine that there's probably some, younger listeners out there, high school, college age, that may be looking for volunteer hours for college applications, job applications. And I think that would be a beautiful way to do that. And Buddy Baseball has a very well orchestrated and organized website. So I think you could find any and all information that you're looking for there. They got videos, they got social media, they got it all. And I know that, Dave Wills was a big proponent of that as well. I've dipped my toe into the volunteering angle recently, helping some local Zephyr Hills youth with reading programs. So
Nice.
no, but I think that's great as far as any it'll. I would imagine there are probably points in your volunteering that you may have teared up or wanted to shed a tear just because of the impact and seeing the smiles on the kids' faces or the people's faces. Just because I have seen one of those. I haven't volunteered for Buddy Baseball, but I've seen the program in action, I guess you could say, from afar.
Yeah, no, and it's awesome. It really is. And so, yeah, so just I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about that experience. And I know that if you are willing and wanting to do volunteer work, I think this Buddy Baseball experience, I hope somebody takes me up on it and signs up for the spring season.
Yeah, that'd be actually a good episode. Maybe have a representative from the organization talk about the organization. Maybe that's something to
Yeah.
look at going forward. So no, that's great. Just looking at it right now for boys and girls ages 8 to 22 with special needs. And yeah, you hit it on the head with what the organization does and its impact. So you just kind of following up on that, you just wanted to volunteer and you remember hearing Dave Wills talk about it and baseball.
Yeah.
It's a natural connection.
I might have had a sake or two.
Okay.
All right. And I was like, hey, you got to do something with your life, man. Like, work and whatever, like, do something good for people. And then the light bulb went off. Like, I want to give 100% of me. And the way to do it is not just maybe putting soup in a soup kitchen line that they're not going to get.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's no with that.
I think as long as somebody has an ounce of free time and is willing to denote that free time, whether it is a soup kitchen or Buddy Baseball or a reading program to elementary kids or picking up trash on the weekends.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, like I feel like you're making a strong impact and making the community, wherever your community is, a better place to be.
Yeah, exactly. But I know that for me personally, I was like, I want them to get 100% of me, and that would be something with baseball. And then Dave Wills, his passing this year, and I was in Japan, like looking forward to go to a baseball game. So it all kind of evolved into this whole thing, and I'm glad I was able to participate. And I hope if one person is listening to this that has the time and has the ability to do that for the spring, then I'll see you there. And if you see me, please come over and say, hey, thank you for getting me to get into Buddy Baseball. Like that's I think that it's a lovely initiative.
Oh yeah. And I'm going to be checking out their Facebook page after the program to see if I can see Ulises coaching or lending a hand to one of the boys or girls there. Yeah. So yeah, that'd be a cool treat there. All right, we will get into the topic du jour, possibly, perhaps, maybe, probably not, renaming the Tampa Bay Rays to the St. Petersburg Rays. But first, we have to tell you this. You can score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right this very moment. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and beyond. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, to kick off the NFL season. Again, FanDuel.com/LockedOn to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, They are the official partner of the NFL. So, Ulises, getting into the topic of the day, it's something that I didn't really give in much or any thought about, but the Tampa Bay Times is doubling down, going hard on the idea that with hundreds of millions of dollars being spent from the county and the city of St. Petersburg, that the Tampa Bay Rays should be renamed the St. Petersburg Rays to better leverage and market and position and brand the city that will be the home of the Rays rather than the general Tampa Bay area. So I don't know if you've seen or read those editorials or just overall what your reaction to a complete renaming overhaul would be or should be. I'll just put it like this. I think that it would be a nice gesture to once a month, once a year, have a special ceremonial St. Petersburg Rays jersey limited edition type of action. But other than that, I don't know how much I'm really willing to entertain the idea of changing the name to the St. Petersburg Rays.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to cut off the anticlimactic, but this is just silly. It's a silly idea because by doing a possible name change, which is not going to happen, but if you were to be called the St. Pete Rays, now you're ostracizing so many fans of the team.
You're ostracizing Hillsborough County, Pasco County, Polk County,
everything.
Yeah,
everything. And like, I would like to know the percentage. If we had a pie chart, Kevin, what would be the percentage of, everyday Rays Tropicana Field goers, fans from that live in St. Pete and those that live outside of St. Pete? So not only Hillsborough, those would be ostracized. Like, I feel like that would be a pretty big chunk, if not the majority of people. So it's just silly. I feel like when you talk about the one-offs, like having a special, like, as you can see it on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We're so close, Kevin, parentheses, we're like at 1,390 subscribers. Let's get to 1.4, guys. Come on, just help us out there.
Please help us out. If that means creating a couple of dummy fake accounts, so be it.
Exactly. Like, let's learn from Elon Musk and
using your parents' Gmail account and subscribing that way.
Yes.
Whatever you have to do to get us to 1.4 would be very, very, very much appreciated.
People. Just get us to 1.4. It just looks nicer. 1.3, 1.4. I'd rather be at 1.4. Anyway, if you see us on YouTube, you can see on the right-hand side the 727 day. So, area code 727, St. Pete. Why not July 27th, right? The July 27th is the St. Pete Race Day. So, like, something like that, I think that would be cool. I think that'd be a quirky thing. I think everybody would enjoy that. Even non-St. Pete fans, even non-St. Pete citizens would enjoy, like, hey, that's a cool uniform. Like, even if it's just for a day, I think people would relish in that. But changing the name completely, I think it's just such a bad idea.
Yeah, and I just wonder where this has come from all of a sudden. I guess the Times needed something to write about, and they needed something to. They, quite frankly, I didn't invent this phrase or this term, but they're answering a question that nobody asked. Like, that's the point that we're at. And
yeah,
if we're doing St. Petersburg Rays, don't we also have to do St. Pete Rowdies? Change the Tampa Bay Rowdies to St. Pete?
I mean, or Kevin, how about the Tampa Bucks, the Tampa Lightning?
The city of Tampa Buccaneers, the city of Tampa Lightning. Or no, let's get even more specific and go to the street that they're on the Northdale Mabry Buccaneers, the
Yeah.
Channel Side Drive Lightning. I mean,
Sure.
at the very least, I would like, just for due diligence purposes and, just to say, hey, we pulled the people out there. I would like to see what, maybe citizens and residents and taxpayers of the county and the city have to say about that. Because the other thing too is like, it is a lot of Pinellas County dollars, tourist tax dollars, but I mean, you've got a lot of other cities that, want to try to leverage and take advantage of that. Clearwater, for example, you go from a Rays game to a Clearwater Beach or vice versa. There's a lot of tie-ins with that. What I think in a perfect world, what I'd love to see, what I think would be really, really awesome and unique and special, and Pittsburgh is the only city that does this, is that the color scheme of all their professional sports teams are black and gold. I would love to see that with Tampa Bay, with the Bucks, the Lightning, the Rays, and the Rowdies, of some sort of a mix of blue and white, and whatever colors, whatever 2-3 colors you want to decide upon, go from there to really have some cohesion. But yeah, I don't think the St. Petersburg Rays thing is going to happen, but I'm willing to guarantee this, because it has been written about, because it has been mentioned, that it will probably be at least one council member of the city and the county, and or a community activist or two that will be the squeaky wheel that hopefully doesn't get the grease, where they'll bang on the table to have the name changed. I think that you're gonna have somebody that really wants to see and hear and watch themselves in their name in the newspaper and on television. Sort of like, Ken Hagen, not saying this is bad, but how he was like, the stadium has to be in Hillsborough County. We need to make the stadium on the side of the Tampa side.
It's hey, this is my 3 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And so I don't doubt that for a second. That's human nature. That's going to happen, especially with politicians. My goodness, that happens all the time. So I don't disagree with your take on that, but I will say, I'm sure that in one of those stipulations, maybe it does get brought up by that squeaky wheel. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised, Kevin, if it does end up happening that like one day, it to be a stipulation that, hey, one day they have to be the St. Pete Rays,
which I'm cool with. Like, make it a day,
fine.
Make it a weekend, just like you have the throwback Devil Rays jersey. Sure. Yeah. Put it as a mayor's proclamation or something like that. We pronounce this St. Petersburg Day, St. Petersburg, whenever the next Rays home game is, they're going to be the St. Petersburg Rays, blah, 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 blah.
Yes. I feel like for one day, it's fine. I don't think people are going to be crazy about it. I think if you poll people, which we did, people got crazy about it because it's kind of like, it's an open-ended of like the whole name change. If it's a whole name change, I think it's like overwhelmingly against it. But if it's a day, I don't think people would be that up in arms about it. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm too naive here, thinking that people are chill. But I think that people would be for a day.
And I mean, the Rays have already invested a lot in their rebranding from several years ago when Stu Sternberg took over as owner. So now you're going to swap out the entire team store and all the merchandise and everything that says Tampa Bay or Tampa Bay Rays and swap that with St. Petersburg. It's just highly, highly, highly unrealistic.
Yeah.
So, so I'm guessing you wouldn't feel any better about the team being named just do the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, make it the Tampa Bay Rays of St. Petersburg. Not a fan of that?
That would be a long name. Now
that would be a bad, because here's the thing, like Tampa Bay is not a city, it's a geographic area, region. So this would have more cachet, and I'd be willing to take on the argument more if it was just the Tampa Bay or Tampa Rays, as some people do say, in the media when they're just trying to shorten it, Tampa Rays, whatever it is. But it's the Tampa Bay Rays. So it's it's an area. So it's not like the Angels, for example, where their stadium is in Anaheim. Anaheim is a city. It is a municipality. It is incorporated. And they still call themselves Los Angeles. I don't know how Artie Moreno has still been able to get away with that, but
I don't know either. But
that's craziness.
I would say
it's still better than, Texas Rangers. That you're branding the entire state rather than, technically they play in Arlington, but everybody knows them as, the Dallas metropolitan area team. So yeah, it just seems like a lot that doesn't need to be fussed about.
No, not at all. But if we're on this, let me just, the last thread I'll pull. You said media goes, oh, the Tampa Rays, which they do. And I hate it. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that I'm not the only Rays fan that when I hear people say, oh, well, they went to Tampa and the Tampa Rays are on the first in the standings. Like, I hate that with like a strong H. Hate that.
Right.
The name change, again, I do not support this at all. Everybody listening? I do not support this at all. The name change to St. Petersburg Rays at least would hopefully eliminate the mainstream saying wrong stuff like Tampa Rays and they went to Tampa. Like, now they would have to say they went to St. Pete. They're playing in St. Pete. Like, it would be more correct. Again, not about it. I'm just pointing out that maybe some of those folks that do these mistakes would no longer do these mistakes.
Heck, and there's probably kind of going off that a little bit. There's probably a decent contingent of residents in St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. It's like, why are you giving our spot away? We want to sort of keep what we have here. I don't know if we want like all this, marketing and spotlight on a community is great, but then you're going to get the added issues, which is already going to happen with the whole redevelopment of the Trop site of, more residents, more homes, more development, more visitors. And some people don't want that. They already deal with enough traffic and enough headaches and enough waiting. And they just don't see a point or a reason for it.
You know what I've never, now I'm on the subject. You know what I've never really understood is that most of these people that go like Tampa Rays, they're not just baseball fans. They're usually football fans too. I've never in my 20 years of living in the US, 20 years plus now, my God, I'm getting old. In these 20 years, I've never heard anybody in the NFL say, the Green Packers are playing tonight against the Minnesota Vikings. Never in my life. I've always heard Green Bay. It's never truncated into Green Packers. Why the bleep do they have to subtract the Bay from Tampa?
Because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't know the difference or don't care to know the difference between Tampa and Tampa Bay. They just think it's the same thing. That city of Tampa Bay is the city of Tampa.
God, I hate it, man. Yeah. Then say Green Packers. I'm just going to start saying Green Packers to people. Oh, yeah. Did you see the Green Packers game? You don't know what I'm talking about?
That'd work. Yeah.
Green Packers.
Yep. That's a way to go about it. All right. So we put this out on the social medias. What do you all think about renaming the team to the quote unquote St. Petersburg Rays? 9% say they like it. They dig it. They're cool with it. And 91% say no, can't do this. Not realistic, not feasible, just don't want it. And then we get some comments here. Ty McCann says, I like it, but practically it doesn't make sense. It's better to appeal to a region rather than a single city. Peter Glasgow says once or twice a season is a tribute to St. Petersburg, possibly full-time. No thanks. Ryder Rasmussen Enjoyer says absolutely not. LOL. I Relentless says just move the team to Russia at that point. And then Argenis Rashad says the Dolphins will be mad at me, but I don't care. There's simply no need when all the local teams are named after the bay. The waters bathing the shore independently of where in the city a team is located, the fans found common ground or water in the bay itself. That is true. And again, I think the new stadium and the redevelopment of that area, if it is Truist Park Battery-esque, that's all you need. You don't need much more to help you out there. People are word's going to get out about that thing one way or the other. Just like word gets out about Armature Works and Sparkman Wharf, the word's going to get out about what they have going at the new ballpark, which, by the way, Truist Park, the Battery, isn't even in Atlanta. It's in Cobb County. But people don't know the difference. I mean, they're still spending their dollars in Cobb County and whomever else is getting the benefits from that. So, it's not like is this is the Battery in the city of Atlanta? Is it in the no, you look to see where it is, and then you go there because you want to enjoy what that area and what that place has to offer, and that's that.
Yeah. I actually, funny story. I heard from somebody. Oh, you got to go to Water Street. I was like, Water Street. It's like, I've been to Waters. It bleeping blows. What are we talking about here? Like Waters?
You're talking about Waters Avenue and Water Street are a different deal for sure.
So word of mouth does happen. People like to tell you about the new thing in town. Yeah.
Speaking of all that, and the new ballpark forthcoming, we believe. Have you yet received and or taken the Rays ballpark survey?
I received it. I have it as unmarked, unread in my inbox. I want to finish it when I have ample time and a clear head and a glass of wine next to me.
Okay, that's smart. We may, when you finish that thing, hit me up. We may have to make that a segment on your take on that lengthy survey. What I thought to be was somewhat lengthy, but they want to be, they want to do their due diligence. But I made my points known in the open-ended listing there about a couple things like, amenities I'd like to see, what's important, what's not important. So once you finish that bad boy, let me know and we can discuss for a little bit.
I will most certainly copy and paste it into a Word document so I don't forget exactly what I wrote.
There we go. Very good. I'll just say emphasis was on ample parking for me and more cost effectiveness. Those were a couple of things, but it was I was getting an oil change that lasted much longer than it should have. So I was like, why not? I will take this survey and go from there. Another thing, too, that we may have to bottle into an episode in the near future is the 2024 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. The names are out there and revealed, and we could have a little fun with that. So stay tuned for all of that. And if you may have seen it on X, our poll and the results with the renaming St. Petersburg or the Rays to the St. Petersburg Rays. Also, if you haven't gotten a chance to have your voice heard, throw it up in the YouTube comments, throw it up in the chat. I'd like to see what people have to say there as well. Anything else on this naming front, Ulises, or do we have it all set?
I think we have it all set. I think people spoke their mind just like we did too. They, and I would like to say, besides the survey and besides the Hall of Fame ballot, we've got player reviews coming. People,
yes, get
ready for those because they are coming, and our red pens have yet to be used for this offseason. So we gotta dust off the red pens and get to work.
We do indeed. A lot of work to do there. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.